We interrupt this program to bring you Courage, the Cowardly Dog Show, starring Courage, the Cowardly Dog. Abandoned as a pup, he was found by Muriel, who lives in the middle of nowhere with her husband, Eustace Bay. But creepy stuff happens in nowhere. It's up to Courage to save his new home.
Stupid dog! You made me look bad!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Men of Zen, an animation research podcast. My name is Brent.
I'm Phil.
And today, you know what we're talking about. You know that intro. If you were a kid of the 90s, well, at least the late 90s for the most part, it was just strange because I kind of remember it being earlier for some reason.
You know, that's such a weird intro for a series talking about a cow and a chicken.
Fucking, what was that called? Oh
Cow
my
and chicken.
God, Cow and Chicken, yeah. Dude.
No. We're here talking about Courage,
the Cowardly Dog!
Ah!
Dude, this is such a weird show for me. Like, again, the timing for this show, I don't remember this being in the late 90s, because it was almost like the year 2000.
Well,
I thought this was like more mid-90s is what I remember, but yeah. I guess I was wrong.
Well, I remember watching this when I was a wee little kid, which was in the early, mid to late 90s. So I think so, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I remember the show differently. And Courage the Cowardly Dog is one that I remember I would watch it whenever it was on. I enjoyed it, but it was never one that I would actively be like, I need to watch this. But every time it's on, it's such a weird show. Every time that I don't know, it was just this mystery about the show, like what is gonna happen, because there were no rules. This show could do whatever it wanted. It was,
in a weird way, when you think about it, it's like an anime.
I mean, Courage doesn't like power up or evolve or
I don't know about that. I mean,
get another form.
His superpower is searching things on the internet.
Yeah,
super quickly
with his fucking little computer that was like an Ask Jeeves.
Oh my god, dude! Courage is a millennial.
Yeah,
if he doesn't know how to do something, he quickly types out the computer like how to stop alien zombies. Search, and the computer would give him so much sass back. Like, you really don't understand how to do that?
Yeah,
fine, I'll show you.
It was like Ask Jeeves. That was like the epitome of it.
If Jeeves had some attitude.
If Jeeves for some reason could give you advice on the paranormal, and not even just the paranormal, but some weird fucking off the wall shit. I can't even think of a good enough example to be like, yeah, like that. There isn't one. It's just all of the villains in this are so bizarre and grotesque looking or strange, and it's just such a bizarre fucking show for me. This pink little dog named Courage the Cowardly Dog, which was a popular animated TV show that aired on Cartoon Network from 1999 to 2002.
Wow.
Created by John Russell Dilworth. The show has a unique blend of comedy, horror, and surrealism that has captured the hearts of both children and adults over the years. The show follows the story of Courage, a small pink dog who is constantly facing various challenges in life and must summon the courage to save the day. It was so popular that the New York-based rock band They Might Be Giants wrote a tribute song titled Courage the Cowardly Dog, and it aired as an animated music video on Cartoon Network in 2002.
Ooh.
This was a really early like horror series for kids, which there weren't a ton of. This was almost like on this new wave of like kids horror when we really think about it. Like we had things like Goosebumps. There was a handful of other small. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yep.
And then there was Courage, but like one of the earliest ones that I can think of was Scooby-Doo. But the horror animated series for kids had been around for decades, scaring and entertaining young viewers for generations. While they may not be as prevalent as they once were, the history of these series is definitely an interesting one, filled with iconic characters and memorable moments, such as one of the earliest examples of a horror animated series for kids, which was Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, which premiered in 1969.
Nice.
Hey! The show followed the adventures of a group of teenagers and their talking dog who solved mysteries involving ghosts and monsters. Despite its focus on horror, the show maintained a light-hearted love and often revealed the monsters to be ordinary people behind a mask. It was you, old man Jenkins, all along. Yeah, and I would have had it too if it wasn't for you dumbass teenagers.
The real monsters.
You fucking
are
reefer
humankind
smokers.
themselves.
Fucking go toke up behind my shed. Assholes. Don't get me in trouble.
Ruh-roh.
That's my weed. I need it from my glaucoma.
I can't wait. I would love to see an adult version, like Scooby-Doo and the gang catching a bunch of drug dealers.
Yeah. Dude, that would be so fucking good.
You know Shaggy's all about that life.
Oh, dude, 100%. He loves to eat those sandwiches. I know you can't see the air quotes, but hopefully, like, the way I said it came through.
Did you own the Scooby-Doo? It was the second movie, I believe. That Shaggy, like the live action one, Shaggy meets a lot of he knows that they're his fans when he goes to this premiere.
Oh, no shit.
He stops, smells like, and looks over and he sees a bunch of, you could just tell these guys are stoners, and he's like, hey, and they're like, hey.
Hey man, you guys got any sandwiches? Oh hell yeah, dude, let's go get some sandwiches behind the dumpster out back, bro.
Or the first movie where he meets that girl crush of his, Mary Jane.
Yeah, like, come on, Scoob.
And he's like, Mary Jane.
Oh, no way. I did not know about that.
Oh yeah, man, there's so many adult references in Scooby-Doo.
Yikes, I did not know about that shit.
Oh man,
that's funny.
But you know what? The 1980s horror animated series for kids experienced a surge in popularity with the release of shows like The Real Ghostbusters and The Addams Family. The Real Ghostbusters was based on the hit movie and followed a team of ghost hunters as they battled supernatural threats. Meanwhile, The Addams Family followed the macabre. Is that the word?
I think it's macabre.
Macabre?
It's not a Pokemon.
Oh man, I love that one. An eccentric Addams Family as they navigated life in a world that didn't quite understand them. Totally get that. The 1990s brought about a new wave of horror animated series for kids, including Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps. Love it.
Yep.
Are You Afraid of the Dark was an anthology series that told spine-tingling stories around the campfire, while Goosebumps was an anthology series of told. Sorry, I was trying to make a joke there. Failed miserably. Don't do what I did, kids, which is fail. Goosebumps was based on the popular book series by R.L. Stine and featured a new horror story each week. So basically an anthology series of spine-tingling stories told around a campfire. So very similar. Nailed it. In the early 2000s, horror animated series for kids continued to evolve with other shows like Invader Zim and the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Invader Zim followed an alien who was sent to conquer Earth but was unsuccessful due to his own ineptitude. Meanwhile, the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy center around two children who became friends with the Grim Reaper and go on supernatural adventures. But Courage the Cowardly Dog is incredibly unique due to its ability to blend comedy and horror effectively. The show is not only entertaining, but it also helps its audience to face their fears by showing that no matter how terrifying a situation is, it can always be overcome with the right mindset and the internet. Courage is the main character. Courage, the main character, is a prime example of this, as he's always afraid. Literally, that man is scared of his own shadow. But he does everything in his power to protect his family. Well, mostly Muriel. Courage also teaches us about the importance of standing up for what we believe in, despite the odds. Courage often finds himself in situations where he is the only one willing to fight for what's right. The show empowers its viewers to speak up and fight for what they believe in, even if it seems impossible at first.
And that's a really great takeaway from this show, is I never really looked at that as a kid's point of view. I was always just interested in like what weird shit is going to happen now. But
right, like the monster of the week type
episode.
Exactly.
But looking back at it on as adult, like it is definitely it's a really great like moral show about, overcoming obstacles, and you just don't really perceive it that way at first as a kid, especially with how weird the shit is.
There's an episode that honestly I watched recently, and as we were doing research for the show, I watched it, and it honestly was a really like heartwarming episode where like this guy, he's very like hideous looking, he's deformed in a lot of ways. He's very nice though, he's very polite, and he comes to the Eustace's to like Courage's house, and he just says, "Can I please sleep in the barn? Can I sleep in like in a room tonight? Like it's cold, it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I would be very grateful if you do." And Eustace answers the door and, of course, screams because the guy is hideous.
Yeah.
And he says, "Get out of here," and closes the door. And Courage, at first, is like, he's a little scary, but like, he's actually a nice guy because he catches him in the barn, because he was trying to get out of the rain, and Courage and him develop a friendship, and he wants to, take care of him, wants to protect him, and it's one of those things like you don't want to judge someone by how they look, because he was hideous looking, but like he was a genuinely kind soul, and Courage could see past his looks and see like he was a genuinely nice person. And that's something that more people, I feel like, should do. Yeah,
no, for sure. Courage is just a great example of all the things that we should be doing in our society, like be accepting of others regardless of their looks and appearance or what they do in their free time or whatever. That's none of that shit matters. Fucking you do you, be yourself. Everyone else can fuck off.
Right, exactly.
Like, it's just fucking ridiculous, like the state that we're currently in, with how oppressive the United States is being, unfortunately, to a lot of people, and it fucking sucks. But so we're there with you. We understand. We do not judge for shit. You are safe in our barn. Welcome to the network, guys.
Yeah, we're happy you're here.
Another essential element of the show was its use of surrealism. The show often features bizarre and otherworldly elements, making it stand out from the rest of the cartoon shows. The surrealism may seem confusing at first, but it eventually becomes a part of the show's unique charm. The weird elements also create a sense of unpredictability, making the audience anticipate the show's next move. Courage the Cowardly Dog shines not just because of its ability to blend different genres, but also due to its fascinating characters. Courage's owners, Eustace and Muriel, often provide comic relief to the show. Eustace is grumpy and rude, while Muriel is kind and nurturing, creating a good balance for the show's humor. The show's villains are also unique, and their backstories are often explored, making them more captivating. Originally, Courage started out as a Canadian one-episode cartoon, which featured in the Cartoon Network special The 50 Greatest Cartoons of All Time. In the original cartoon, there was no dialogue, except for a line spoken by Courage, who was voiced by a different, authoritative voice in this short. An alien chicken was the first villain in this short, and it would come back for its revenge in the American series.
Yeah.
The chicken from outer space was nominated for an Oscar.
I remember this episode so much. This is the one that got me into the show.
Really?
It's so, I can't remember every single bit that happens in it, but it's such a good episode that it really does hook you into the whole show as a whole. But go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. No, there's another episode that we'll talk about a little bit later that's really interesting if you didn't watch it. It's like 5 minutes long. Did you watch the Courage Prototype?
I don't think I watched the Courage Prototype, no.
Oh, man, it's fucking weird. It's good. Courage the Cowardly Dog was created by John R. Dilworth, who directed each episode and was produced and aired by Cartoon Network. It premiered alongside Mike, Lou and Og on November 12th, 1999, and aired its final episode on November 22nd, 2002. The show featured a number of differences from its original pilot, most noticeably featuring voiced dialogue by all characters. As the series continued, the use of stock dialogue recordings grew in use rather than recording new dialogue. This led to the disparity of Eustace's original voice actor, Lionel Wilson, still being heard alongside his replacement, Arthur Anderson. Arthur. I could never remember. Okay, now there is a T in there. It's Arthur Anderson. The series returned to Cartoon Network on Monday, August 31st, 2015, airing Monday through Friday from 6 to 7, and again in December 2021. There was a one-time rerun of the show because of Christmas specials.
Interesting. Can't believe the show was only around for 3 years.
Yeah, it was very short-lived.
So much longer, because I would have been in 1999, I would have been 8 years old, and then that means I would have been 11 when the show finished up. Wow,
I was about 10 when it started.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah,
damn.
It's got a bunch of fucking weird ass episodes. I remember there was a certain age where I got to where I was just like, I don't know if this does it for me anymore. It's real fucking weird.
Everyone remembers one specific episode of Courage, though.
Yeah,
and we all know what that episode is, right?
The goat.
No. No.
I'll show you what true pain is. You don't know pain.
No, man. I'm telling you about Return the Slab.
No.
You don't. Everyone knows that. Everyone's
remember that
traumatized
one.
by that episode.
No way.
You don't remember that episode? The one
No.
like they it starts off with these guys that are avoiding the police. They're driving away and they have this old Egyptian slab and it shows like a mummy on it and then like 3 different symbols, one for like
Oh.
crickets, music, and then water.
This does sound familiar.
And they decide to try to hide the slab. So they bury it and all of a sudden the supposed mummy comes up and you just hear return the slab and they're just like, what does this guy want? And then all of a sudden a huge swarm of crickets come in and you just hear the guys screaming ah, and it just like pans off and then it shows like the cops driving by and then just goes right back to where they were. The car has been completely eaten and there's no one there.
Huh.
And then you see this Courage picks up a slab, and essentially the episode is Eustace finding out this slab is worth a lot of money, and he's demanding a ransom for it. And the mummy comes back, and he's like, "You will be visited by 3 plagues, each worse than the last, unless you bring me back my slab." And Eustace is like, "What's your offer?" Like, no solicitors. I'll give it away for 1 million. And it's just you get like a flood, awful music blaring, and then crickets that like eat everything. And it's a very scary episode because like the mummy was not done in a traditional animation standard. It was a more of a 3D animation where he's just like moving really like weird and he's just like return the slab, suffer my curse.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers that because that was very creepy
Yeah.
as a kid,
It
seeing
was-
something like that.
That was so they do mix like some 3D and other
They
just
do.
design elements
Yes.
into this show. It's really interesting how they did this.
That's the one, at least everyone that I know that watches Courage, that's like the first thing they say is that fucking mummy episode.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. No, I just remember the goat. There was
I don't remember the goat.
they try to, what was it? Muriel has a really, really injured back, and Courage, Eustace, and Muriel set out to some like secret hot springs, like out in like I don't know if it's like the Grand Canyon or just some really mountainous area. And they've heard that there's some springs that can like cure any injury, and along the way they
Okay,
run
wait,
into this goat.
Yeah, I think I think I remember that.
And the goat, like basically the story almost seems like equivalent to how Americans come into any fucking territory that's not yours and then completely fuck it up and then ruin it and then decide to leave, which is exactly what this was, where this goat lived in this like really, the goat was like, this area used to be beautiful with trees and grass and the springs were great, but then they came and it was like, I think he said it was tourists. And he's like, tourists found the
tourists.
spring and fucking ruined it, and he didn't want anyone to find the springs. Muriel and Courage are trying to negotiate with it, and the goat the entire time is just like, you think you're in pain? I'll show you what true pain is. And he headbutts Muriel like fucking 20 miles into the mountains.
Oh my god,
It's
that's
fucking
really
awesome.
That's
Dude.
awesome.
It was fucking amazing. That's one of the best episodes.
But hey, speaking of, remember we talked about earlier, Prototype.
Yes.
There's an obscure Dilworth animated short, Smart Talk with Raisin, pulling a Malade out of a hat.
It's a Malad.
Malad? Well,
Yeah.
why is it spelled Malade?
You'll
Joke's on you.
it's a name.
Malad. Pulling a Malad out of a hat that appeared on MTV's Liquid Television in Season 3, Episode 1. It features a proto-Courage character named Hamilton, as well as what can be considered a proto-Muriel, the titular Raisin, and proto-Eustace named Malcolm, who in this case is Raisin's misanthropic brother. The premise of the short is that a young girl named Raisin has her own primetime show, the format of which is unspecified, but the implication is that it is a variety show. In the short, Raisin is encouraging her dog Hamilton to perform a magic trick for the show that involves him pulling a malad. Oh, I see, malad from a hat. Even put the how to pronounce it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Miss Malad is Malcolm and Raisin's school teacher. The majority of the short involves Malcolm verbally abusing Hamilton and Raisin. Several stylistic features are seen in the short that mark it as Dilworth's work, and several characteristics of Courage are seen in Hamilton. For example, Hamilton does not speak and is timid and non-confrontational in the face of Malcolm's overt hostility. Their appearance is also quite similar, through a key difference is that Hamilton's left eye is drawn elongated in a style similar to some secondary characters in the Courage series. Yeah, I'm looking at this picture, and I'll probably post the picture like in this like segment here on the channel.
Yeah.
Boy is ugly.
Yeah, like
Boy, it looks like someone gave crack cocaine to Courage.
Yeah.
And forced him to use
He
it.
does. He looks like he's on bath salts.
Oh no,
And for
Courage!
some
What do they
reason,
do to you?
Courage, like like the only thing he ever actually does. So he has like a little cape on, and I think he had like a little magician's hat, and he's like dressed up, and he's gonna do a magic trick, and he's got his hat like upside down on a table, and he just keeps tapping it with like one of those shitty plastic like magic wands, like ready to do something. And every time he's about to, Malcolm is this like little fucking asshole of a kid. Oh my god, like he's a dick. He is. Like I want to punch that kid in the face. But like the only thing this Hamilton or Courage, the only thing he actually ever does in it, he'll tap the hat, and then occasionally he smiles really big, and when he smiles, it's hideous. I'm pretty sure he has braces on when he smiles. It's really fucking weird.
Ugh.
Dude. But yeah, this animated short was so strange. But yeah, they're totally right that like this has Dilworth written all over it. It's almost more grotesque than most of his other work in Courage, though. Like Courage compared to this one short seems a little bit more tame, and I don't know why, but yeah, it looks like his eyeball got stung by a bee and is now trying to leave his body for some reason.
Oh my god.
It's gross. It's very disturbing. So some of the characters we have in this show, there's primarily the main three. We have Courage, which was voiced by Howard Hoffman in the pilot, Marty Grabstein in the series. A dog, the protagonist of the show. As stated in the opening credits, he was abandoned by a pup and left in an alley, where he was eventually found by Muriel Beige.
Muriel Bag.
Muriel Bag, is that it?
I'm pretty sure it's Bag.
Muriel Bag. I can't remember.
Because it's Eustace Bag.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's gotta be-
You're right. Though it was presented as a cowardly dog, he acts as the reluctant hero whenever any supernatural forces threaten Muriel and Eustace. Courage has the quality of never giving up. He has a compassionate side, often showing kindness and friendship to the creatures shunned by the rest of society. Courage speaks in average and standard English to the viewer, but when he wants to convey a message to the other characters of the series, he usually acts out the message with babbling and high-pitched, incoherent gibberish. As the series progressed, instances of Courage speaking English grew less and less frequent, and that's his like he just like jumps up and down wildly and like points to like the things
And,
he's
like,
trying to tell.
Changes his face around to like mimic like the mummy like or like he'll change into he'll shapeshift. It's weird. It's anime. Different show.
The final episode of the series reveals Courage's origins. He lived with his parents as a pup until an evil veterinarian rocketed his parents to the moon as part of an experiment. Muriel found Courage soon after. The veterinarian later attempted to send Courage to the moon as well, but Courage thwarted him and sent the veterinarian instead.
That was such a very sad episode.
I can imagine. I don't know if I remember that one. Courage's parents, along with other dogs that the veterinarian had sent to the moon, were shown at the end of the episode, ready to pummel the veterinarian.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Get that bitch.
Somehow they could live on the moon, which is funny. But then you see Courage's parents that just look like him. One with like a mustache or beard or something. The other one like dressed up as a woman. And you see like pounding fists ready to go.
Oh shit. We've got Courage is recognizable for his scream of terror, often accompanied by exaggerated and grotesque visual images. I'm not even going to attempt that. That like shriek that he does is shrill. And his catchphrases like "the things I do for love" and or "my name's not," and he'll have like some.
It's not.
Yeah, he'll have some random
J.G. Warmenheimer.
Yeah, and
but it's not. Or like, "Oh, I got a bad feeling about this."
Yeah. Dude, I love I should have wrote down some of the names that he says. They're fucking hilarious. I wish, I need to look into some of those and see if they're actually, names in history that I just don't know. I never really thought about that.
I never thought about that. Yeah, as, a kid watching this. I'm like, funny name.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, oh, what were those actually real people?
Yeah,
or-
maybe they were real people. I don't know.
All right, and other characters like Muriel Bagg. Muriel, Courage's owner, a kind, trusting, and hospitable grandmotherly figure with a Scottish accent. She loves to cook, clean, sit in her old-fashioned rocking chair, and play the sitar. She dearly loves her dog Courage and looks to him for protection. In the typical episode, Muriel is captured or threatened in some way, and Courage is usually the one to rescue her. Muriel's cooking, no matter the actual dish, often features vinegar as a special ingredient. This appears as a gag in several episodes of the show. Yeah, I remember that. She's like, the secret ingredient is vinegar. In her youth, Muriel had red hair, which would later turn white in her old age. She is unable to see without her glasses and frequently assumes that she is not in danger when she is without them.
She's so oblivious to shit.
Thea White, born June 16th, 1940, died at the age of 81 on July 30th. 2021 from an infection due to surgery. She was the voice actress for Muriel. And I love Muriel as a character. She was super kind. She's always just protecting Courage when like Eustace being an absolute dick to Courage because he hates him. He would like scare Courage and Muriel would always like smack him over the head or like hit him with some object. And he'd be like, what did I do?
What did I do?
And she would just be like, you cut this out right now, Eustace. She's super sweet. And except the episode that she turned into a kid. You remember that episode?
Oh, yes.
Where like Courage had to pretend to be like, well, had to take care of her until he could figure out how to turn her back. That scene with the macaroni. More macaroni. He'd redo it.
Macaroni.
And he'd come back like, more cheese. And then he'd do it again and be like, less cheese. And then more macaroni, less cheese. More cheese, less macaroni.
Dude, Eustace is such an asshole all the time. Like one of the earlier episodes where, what was it? There was it was like someone was like hypnotizing Muriel and making her like forget who she was and like where she was. And the first time that Eustace figures out that she's not sure what's going on, he goes to like put her in her place, like quote unquote, and she's like, I don't know where I am or who I am, and he just looks at her and Eustace goes, you slave woman.
Yep.
And he's like, your job is to go in the kitchen and get me something to eat. He just sits down and reads the fucking paper.
Oh yeah, and then he would tell her like, we hate the dog.
Yeah, he's like, we don't know who he is, we hate him, and they kick him out. Oh my fucking god. Poor fucking Courage.
Tell us about Eustace though.
Eustace Bagg. Eustace voiced by Howard Hoffman in the pilot, Lionel Wilson in the series, and later Arthur Anderson in the series, and by Wallace Shawn in Fog of Courage. Muriel's husband, a cruel, selfish, greedy, antisocial, bad-tempered farmer. That's a lot. Eustace dislikes Courage, whom he refers to as a stupid dog, and often pulls cruel jokes on him. A recurring gag in the series involves Eustace putting on a Swahili-like mask and yelling "Ooga booga booga." That is to frighten Courage. He does this in the intro to the show, which you heard earlier.
Oh, yeah.
His name may be a play on the phrase useless bag. Right? I mean, he really is. Eustace is given a generally negative characterization, and he will do just about anything for money except, it seems, grow anything on his farm, which is really derelict. There's fucking nothing there. It's like in the middle of, like, where do they get their food?
Nowhere.
Where do they get their food? I don't know if I've
The
ever
grocery
seen
store.
them. Yeah, but I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. Do they?
They drive like really, really far away to get into town.
Do you think they had delivery, like DoorDash or something?
They're probably not. They gotta pay out the ass for tips if they DoorDash anything out there.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. He spends a lot of time sitting in his red recliner, watching his dated television and reading his newspaper. He is unwilling to give up the recliner to anyone. His relationship with his elderly mother, Ma, is strained, though this is largely part due to his mother's attitude and negligence on his upbringing. One noticeable exception to this foul character is that he is shown to genuinely care for Muriel, though even this can bend to greed and foul demeanor.
Like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. As the series progressed, the use of stock dialogue recordings grew in use rather than recording new dialogue because the original voice actor of Eustace, Lionel Wilson, retired due to illness and was replaced by Arthur Anderson. Wilson passed away on April 30th of 2003 at the age of 79 due to pneumonia. Eustace, he's a bald guy. He wears like one of those like driver hats. He's bald. He wears a maroon hat, like one of those cabbie hat, cab driver's cap. Is that, I don't fucking know what those are called. He's very insecure about his baldness and will go to absurd lengths to retrieve his hat should it be lost. His greed and need for affluence also knows no limits, leading to such things as selling out his own family for money or subjecting himself to horrific experiments for compensation.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's such a dick. Shit. But hey, I think we're actually going to take a really quick break here, listen to a couple of our ads, and we will be right back.
What's up, gamers? Birds and Swords here. I'm Micah.
And I'm Alyssa. As part of the Barn Media Group, we bring you anything and everything from the world of video games.
Are we experts?
No.
But do we play a lot of video games?
Hell yeah, we do.
So come check out our gaming podcast, Birds and Swords, for insight, opinions, top lists, and all the fun that comes with talking about games.
Come laugh with us. Or at us.
So bring your bird and your sword.
Because it's Birds and Swords.
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/thebarn. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thebarn.
Wow. I'm so excited that we are fucking sponsored by BetterHelp now.
All right, you know what? Like that, when we were told that by Chad, who runs the barn, great guy by the way. You should go check out the barn. That's our media partner. That's kind of like our umbrella that we're under right now.
Yeah.
Great stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to get into that, and this actually could give me an opportunity to talk to a therapist because mental health is very important.
It is.
Real talk here.
Yeah, it is. But do I have the money for it? Hell no.
That's why you can save 10% off with that BetterHelp thing. But hey, you know what? You just listened to the ad. You know what it's about.
Psh, no, you don't. You don't even know what it's about. So go sign up at betterhelp.com/thebarn and go find out and then let me know because I don't know.
Yeah, let us know that you got some help.
Yeah, because I don't know and I need it.
Oh man, but you know what? Let's get back to something that's distracting you from all that depression. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
This pink little dog is my best friend.
Did you know some fun facts about Courage the Cowardly Dog?
I know there are some.
There are. Let me tell you some.
What is they?
So you think this show was very popular. Why did it just end after 4 seasons? 3 years, 4 seasons. You would think like if a show's really popular, you would want it to continue for as long as you can. Because capitalism milk the crap out of it.
Yep.
There are some theories about why the show ended. One of the biggest ones is due to the episode called The Mask, which the episode covered a lot of domestic abuse and it implied a same-sex relationship. At the time, a very progressive topic.
Oh, yeah.
Other speculation surrounding the cartoon coming to an end also stemmed from the show being too frightening for kids, which, I mean, kind of is plausible. That's why Vader Zim didn't last as long as a lot of other shows because it was...
Bet your ass we're doing Invader Zim at some point, too.
100%. 100%. Another thing, though, is that back in the day, a cartoon typically ran for 3 to 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot ran past that because, it just some creators were like, you know what? Nah, this is a good place to stop, But I can definitely see that. I didn't even see as a kid watching that episode, The Mask, I was like, huh, that guy's an asshole. Aw, those girls, they care about each other. That's awesome. Didn't even give a shit. Oh, they're two girls? Mom, Dad, what does it mean? It means they love each other. God damn.
Good.
Speaking of some cool little fun facts, did you know that a voice actress from the Rugrats was actually on Courage?
I'm really not surprised. For some reason, the show always gave me a little bit of a Rugrats vibe in terms of the art. And I don't know why. Where like people's bodies were always just a little misshapen, a little lumpy in some places where it wasn't like, just something about it. I always like. Some of the characters it always reminded me of like Tommy for some reason, because that kid's got the fucking weirdest shaped head of all time.
But apparently Kath Soucie, she voiced Phil and Lil on Rugrats, and she also provided the voice for Little Muriel in that episode with more macaroni. If you listen closely, you can definitely tell. And now just reading that, I'm like, oh my god, she did.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Did you also know that Friends inspired the names of Eustace and Muriel?
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yep. I couldn't verify 100% which ones, because I found a couple things too.
Yep, apparently Eustace and Muriel are the middle names of Chandler Bing and Ross Geller, respectively.
See, because I wasn't sure. Like, I did read that, but I didn't include it in this because I found another one somewhere that said Muriel was inspired by his wife's name. And I couldn't verify that either. And I was like, weird. But there was a couple different things where I heard where some names came from. But yeah, that was one of the things that I heard. Did you see anything about? Now, this is just, this does not really exist, but there was at some point, like in the days of, I don't know if it was 4chan or fucking whatever, but like creepypasta threads.
Ooh,
the band episode. Did you ever hear about that?
The band episode? No, there was a band episode?
There wasn't. This is just it turned out to just be a creepypasta, but like the more you dig into this, I think more and more people believe this really existed, but I was able to find that this is just a made up thing that and ended up culminating into people's brains thinking that it was real, but no one could find it because I couldn't find it. So the band episode, this guy says, this is read straight from Lost Episode Creepypasta Fandom for Courage the Cowardly Dog. This guy says, I once saw Courage the Cowardly Dog episode that was so scary and disturbing that I never watched the show ever again.
Ooh.
Yes, I am aware that every single episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog is purposely scary and disturbing, but this episode was so messed up it was only aired once. It conceits a mountain goat wearing a top hat and a monocle.
Ooh.
Good day, fine dog. May I stay for a night? I require rest for my big day. Muriel comes to the door, but the goat comes in before anything is said. Eustace is now awoken and was complaining at the goat. The goat simply replied with, "You're a fat ass." I'm like, whoa, like that right there. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that for a second. Cartoon Network would never allow that.
Yep, this guy also says he was rather shocked, and he paused for a second before listening again. Courage is already mad at the goat for calling him a fat ass on the floor, and the goat picks it up, then disappears. I don't know what he's saying he picked up. I don't know. I didn't write this. Some guy did. Courage does his usual scream and then runs downstairs. But when he reaches downstairs, he looks out the window to see that it's night already. Muriel and Eustace were now sleeping. Then Courage grabs them by their hand and drags them into the cellar, then pulls out a giant lock and locks and chains up the door. A rooster is heard all of a sudden, and it's morning. The goat suddenly appears behind Courage and says, "I'm a fat fuck." Courage then eats the goat and suddenly starts chasing everyone with the axes. Eustace awakens and shouts, "Fucking doubt the goat," ends up chopping off his foot. What? Eustace falls down, and let's just say that what the goat did was not pretty, but it ended up chopping off Eustace's head. Then the screen went static, and the whole show stopped. I figured Cartoon Network had managed to stop it from being aired, which, again, this is totally like
I don't
fake.
believe it.
There's no way. Like that. No, it's just a creepy pasta.
Much as I would love that to be the case.
Yeah.
Much as I would love that to be the case.
So there was there's one guy that posted in the comment from 2020. He just says this doesn't answer anything. However, some other guy says this is 100% real. I saw it as well. You forgot the part where Courage gets beat up, bloody, and then thrown back down into the cellar. And someone else says, "Oh, P.S. The goat chants in the main bedroom, and a pentagram appears, and the axe comes through the floor."
Jesus.
What the fuck?
That sounds awesome. I don't think this is true at all.
Holy shit! What the fuck?
But did you also know that it actually has a lot of real Courage the Cowardly Dog has a lot of real world inspiration. Apparently, there is a real place in New Mexico called Nowhere. And apparently there was an elderly couple who lived there with their dog who reported paranormal occurrences, such as seeing skinwalkers, a type of harmful witch that could disguise themselves into animals. Oddly enough, after talking about what they saw, the couple disappeared, and only the dog remained.
See, I feel like that's another rumor. I think I found some information about that I do talk about a little bit later.
Oh, really?
If I remember right, I'd have to find it. I'm sure it'll come up, but I'm pretty sure that what I ended up finding was that it wasn't actually that they didn't actually have a dog, it was a cat. And that Courage was originally supposed to be a cat or something.
Yes. Yep.
And it was because of that he was like, no, it makes more sense because a scaredy cat is too obvious. He's like, I want something that has a bit of contrast, where dogs are supposed to be courageous, but this dog is scared of shit of everything, but does things out of like necessity.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I did see that one too. I don't know if that was 100% verifiable, but I did come across that one.
Did you know that a variation of the Mission Impossible theme song plays every time Courage tries to save the day?
I did. Boom, 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 boom,
that got so ingrained into my head that when I was younger, every time I would need to do something urgently, I would hear that song play in my head, that exact one from Courage, and I'd be typing on the computer or trying to find something or do something really quickly. I'd hear that da 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 da. Oh, good times.
Yeah, dude, good. I did find that. That's fucking awesome. I might have put that in here later too. Holy shit! Tell us a little bit about this plot.
The plot. Well, let me tell you something about plot in anime, because plot in anime is when they give us a look into the dreams of men.
Normally those dreams are huge. They got big ass dreams.
But in all seriousness, we're respectable around here.
I mean, this is anime we're talking about. I'm not saying nothing about anybody's opinion other than my own. You know what? I'm fine with looking at some cartoon bags.
Plot?
Some plot.
Cartoon bags. Oppai. I want that shirt that Saitama has in One Punch Man where it just says Oppai and it just two U's with the dots at the end of them.
Yep.
We know what's going on.
We all know
what
that
plot
means.
The plot
anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Oh Jesus! The plot to Courage the Cowardly Dog revolves around Courage, a small pink dog living with his owners, Muriel and Eustace Bag, in a farmhouse located in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. Nowhere, Kansas. Sorry.
Yeah.
Courage is known for his cowardly nature and always scared and jumping to conclusions, but he often goes to great lengths to protect Muriel from any danger. Each episode features Courage facing different supernatural or paranormal events, from monsters, aliens, ghosts, to haunted objects and even curses. And also the Feet Mafia. That was a weird one. Despite being afraid at first, Courage always does his best to protect Muriel and stop the villain's nefarious plans, often with the help of his intelligence and various gadgets and the internet.
Yeah, like the fucking Ask Jeeves computer.
Right.
It's just upstairs in the attic.
Just a computer.
Just a computer. I don't even think there's a chair.
Yeah. Well, no, there's a chair. There's a chair with a bucket that he sits on because he's so short.
I don't even know if Eustace and Muriel know it's there, to be honest.
Old. They don't know the internet.
How do they fucking get internet out there?
Yeah, what service provides internet in the middle of nowhere? Not satellite, I can tell you that.
It's not Verizon.
No, it's not US Cellular. It's not T-Mobile.
Not Mediacom.
Actually, it might be T-Mobile.
Yeah, you're right.
They might have it.
T-Mobile, AT&T, maybe.
They should have had a sponsorship in there.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. I don't portray psychopaths. That's a different monster altogether, and those don't interest me, the creator explained. We are talking about the villain, and I'm very much interested in the repressed traumas of villains, even of protagonists. I have stitched together a vague history for Eustace, that he was unloved by his mother. She preferred an older brother, and there was the effect of that in Eustace. I've explored that in a few cartoons, to be honest. So the idea of going deeper, trying to assign the etymology of bad behavior to childhood trauma is based on actual science. That's the science of psychiatry. That's really cool. That he wasn't trying to make just a standard brain dead cartoon. He wanted to actually make a cartoon with a little bit of more thought behind it.
Yeah.
You know, characters that were deeper than what you typically expect in a cartoon.
And I feel like that's where the show still lives up today, because there is so many different underlying psychological things that go much deeper than a child will analyze at the time when they watch it. They just see, oh, funny weird monster does weird things, and then adults go, wow, that's really fucked up actually.
There's a moments where Eustace cries and he's vulnerable, and I'm like, holy crap,
that man's depressed as fuck.
Yeah, this is a sign. No wonder he's pissed off. He's depressed.
He needs some therapy. BetterHelp.com/thebarn.
There you go. Tell him the men of Zen sent you. Along the way, Courage also encounters reoccurring foes such as cats, so with a K and a Z, manipulative, sinister con artist who's a cat, and Lequac, a French accented con man who tries to scam the family, who's a duck.
Is great.
Lequac. Cats? Okay, Cats straight up had the fucking... Every time he was on screen, he had his own theme song playing.
Yes.
And that was so cool, because it was very I can't even remember exactly what it was, but I remember it was just something smooth, pow, 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 pow. Something like that along those lines. And the Quack was just a French duck trying to scam people.
Oh, that reminds me of, there was the episode of The Ghost in the Record Player.
Ghost in the Record Player.
Eustace is playing. He plays this record, and every time the record plays, this ghost comes out through the tube microphone or whatever the fuck is in those old ass record player, and the ghost starts playing piano, the song that is actually playing.
I think I remember this. Yeah.
And Eustace is like, wow, that's awesome. He's like, I love this music. I'm super getting into this. And the ghost invites Muriel to sit down next to him and be like, play with me. And Muriel's like, okay, let's go. And they're both playing. And then the ghost gets up and walks away and lets Muriel keep playing. And then the ghost stops the record, and it pulls Muriel into the record instead of the ghost.
Now I remember this.
And now the ghost is like, I'm free, Daddy-O, let's go.
I'm free!
Eustace does not give a shit. He just goes, do you think you need a tour manager? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, that'll be a lot of money. And he's like, let's go. He just fucking ditches his house to go be a fucking manager of some fucking ghost dude.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
That's nuts. See, that's cool. That's some cool shit.
Yeah, except for the part where he abandons Muriel like that. Yeah, he's a dick.
That's just Eustace, though. The show often featured references and homages to classic horror movies, such as The Shining and Psycho. That I did remember. But never any of the gory details the horror genre typically displays. Gore was an issue with the series, as the network didn't want to portray anything quite so dark as that. Dilworth had said this about the inclusion of gore in the series. For me, it was absurd, and I had no idea that the audiences would be so affected, he says. The network's comments were basically about no gore, which I am not a fan of, and I've never been. In fact, I can't even watch gory movies. If I want to see blood, I just look at my own wounds. So there was no pushback. In fact, we were blessed. Those executives understood the cartoon language and culture and didn't treat it as a corporate thing. They understood the art of it and had filmmakers like myself.
It sounds like he had a really, easygoing time with the network to make what he wanted, which is why the show was so bizarre. He could do whatever he wanted as long as if it was in the realm of, being relatively child friendly. But man, it's fucking great. So let's learn a little bit about John R. Dilworth, or John Russell Dilworth, an American animator, director, and producer who rose to fame with his critically acclaimed cartoon show Courage the Cowardly Dog. He was born on February 14th, 1963. Dilworth was raised in a creative household in New York City. His father was a pianist, while his mother was a fashion designer.
Ooh.
Dilworth showed an early interest in animation and cartoons, and he created his first cartoon at the age of 10. I could not find what that was. He went on to study at the School of Visual Arts in New York City, where he discovered his passion for filmmaking. After graduation, Dilworth became an art director at Baldy, Bloom, and Wellen Advertising, but continued to work on his own films in his spare time, providing much of his own funding. In 1991, Dilworth started his own production company, Stretch Films, in New York City. The company's first project was a series of animated shorts that Dilworth pitched to Hanna-Barbera's animated shorts showcase, What a Cartoon, one of them being a pilot called The Chicken from Outer Space, that aired on Cartoon Network as part of the 50 Greatest Cartoons of All Time on February 18th, 1996. Originally, there was no dialogue, except for lines spoken by Courage, who was voiced by a different authoritative voice in this short. An alien chicken was the villain in this short, and it would come back for its revenge in the American series. The segment was nominated for an Academy Award, but lost to the Wallace and Gromit short film, A Close Shave. The short was
Scam.
was a scam. The short was greenlit to become a series, which premiered on November 12th, 1999, and ended on November 22nd, 2002, with 4 seasons having a total of 52 episodes. During its run, the series received critical acclaim and over the years has developed a strong cult following. It was also nominated for 3 Golden Reel Awards and won 1 Annie Award. He also worked on the original opening for Nicktoons and for shows such as Doug, Rugrats, and My Life as a Teenage Robot. I knew the show had Rugrats vibes.
Okay.
I never saw My Life as a Teenage Robot. Doug, that's another one. That was like a big part of my childhood growing up, and I was like 9, 10. Dude, I fucking loved the shit out of Doug. Dear Journal.
Oh man, Doug was just like one of those cartoons. It was one of those cartoons that you were a kid watching it, but like you could definitely tell it was meant for like a slightly older crowd.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was one of those shows that I feel like, I don't necessarily know if it was meant for it, but it made little kids look at it and go, wow, this is what life is like for older kids. And
Right.
like almost tried to give you a glimpse into what you have to expect, which was keep a journal. Don't let anybody fucking else see it. Don't be a bitch. Wear different clothes other than the same outfit every day.
Oh my god, cartoons don't have the same outfit. Sorry,
And,
cartoons don't have different clothes. The
dude,
same clothes.
Some of the fucking greatest musical songs of our generation were from that show, like "Banging on a Trash Can."
You know, I
drumming
completely
on a street
I
light.
forgot about that.
Or the other hit song, "I need more allowance, yodelay. I need more allowance, yodelay. I need more allowance. Hey, I'm talking to you.
Jesus.
I need to buy some CDs. I need to buy some gum. I'll mow the lawn. I'll mow the lawn. I'll clean the house. I think I deserve some more allowance." Dude,
Oh,
the fucking
man.
things I remember.
Catch that
Holy
new
shit.
single coming out.
Fire.
Brent's dropping the heat.
Yodelay
You
who.
can pre-order that on Apple and Amazon Music.
Oh, the what was there? The fucking other one that he goes. Oh no, wait. I was thinking of Hey Arnold. There was one
Yep.
with Hey Arnold where he like smashes plates on his face, and he's like, "Don't hit me, I'll hit me because I'm crazy." Like, he gets
Yeah.
into
Oh my god, that's another show about like just a kind of cooler kid show.
Dude, that was like I haven't heard the name in probably at least a good few years, but let me tell you what, the moment that fucking show came out, every goddamn kid to me, "Hey Arnold," I'm like,
Oh yeah.
please shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It wasn't like,
Now I'm gonna start thinking about that.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for myself. I'm sorry I did this to
Hey,
myself.
at least it's better than like every kid calling you, "Hey Phil of the future." "Hey Dr. Phil."
Dr. Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong.
"Hey Philly cheesesteak."
You're not wrong.
Yeah, that is. I got a bunch.
Philium Squidward.
Felipe.
Yeah, shit.
Dr. Phil good.
Dr. Phil. That's a good one. I like that one. Oh, dude.
Oh man. He also did you know he also worked on the Disney animated series PB and J Otter?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I didn't see that one.
I've heard of the show. Never watched it, but I heard of it.
I do remember watching it. Shit, I can't remember shit about it, but I do remember watching that.
It was about otters.
Yeah, it was I think a kind of a younger kids show. Like, I feel like this was one of the shows where once all of the morning cartoons for you like were done and you had nothing else left to watch, you could go to the Disney Channel and they would have like little kids shows.
Yeah.
Like Franklin, Arthur, there was a Rupert. There was
Why are these kids shows just named after like old men? Franklin, Arthur, Hampton,
coming over to play. Yeah.
Rupert. Bunch of old ass names for kids.
Rupert, that like weird little white polar bear thing, but he wore like corduroy checkered pants and like a
Sick.
button-up shirt.
My kid's got swag. Did you also know that Dilworth created the 9 animated shorts for Sesame Street based on his independent film Noodles and Ned?
No.
Ned was actually named after Ned Willard, one of his mentors.
Oh, shit.
Oh, cool shit.
Yeah, damn.
Dilworth's success with the chicken from outer space led to the creation of Courage the Cowardly Dog, which aired on Cartoon Network from 1999 to 2002. The show was a massive hit, and Dilworth won 3 Emmy Awards for his work on the show. In addition to his work on Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dilworth has directed and produced several other animated shows and films. He produced a series of animated shorts called Life in Transition in 2007, and in 2010, he directed the animated feature film The Care Bears. Oopsie does it.
Care Bear stare.
I'm a gummy bear, gummy bear. That's a different show. Aside from his work in animation, Dilworth is also a professor of animation at the School of Visual Arts in New York City. He is also a sought-after speaker and has been invited to speak at numerous animation conferences and film festivals. Despite his success, Dilworth is known for his modesty and down-to-earth personality. He is a dedicated artist who has spent his career following his passion for animation and creating some of the most memorable characters and stories in the cartoon industry. John R. Dilworth has made a significant contribution to the world of animation, and his creativity and passion for his work have inspired millions of people around the world. With his outstanding work on Courage the Cowardly Dog and other animated shorts and films, Dilworth has firmly established himself as one of the most talented and influential animators of his generation. Courage the Cowardly Dog is a timeless classic that has left a mark on children and adults alike. That is absolutely true. So many people remember Courage the Cowardly Dog in our age range as one of like the big shows on Cartoon Network. And Cartoon Network had a lot of big shows.
Yeah, yeah.
Through his unique combination of comedy, horror, and surrealism, the show teaches us about facing our fears, standing up for ourselves, and fighting for what we believe in. Also, the internet. The show also boasts well-crafted characters that provide comic relief and add to the story's complexity. Courage the Cowardly Dog remains a beloved classic cartoon that will stay in the hearts of fans for years to come.
True.
That will always be one of those shows that if I ever see it on anywhere, I will watch it. My girlfriend gave me her password to HBO Max. Thanks, babe.
Gotta rub it in
because I know you listen to our podcast because you're supporting.
I don't
your
have
man.
HBO
Thank you.
right now. It was sad. You can watch some of these episodes of Courage on YouTube. Did you know that?
That is true
because you have HBO.
YouTube actually has a lot of like channels that are just streamed like 24/7.
Yeah,
you watch it. They have like for Johnny Bravo, Ed, Edd n Eddy, which are great shows. I would love to do in the future.
Oh yeah.
But Courage is one of those shows that like it didn't overstay its welcome. It was one of those shows that like was here and made an impact and then left.
Yeah,
that's super
for sure.
Cool. Here are some lesser known facts about the Courage the Cowardly Dog show. The show was nominated for 3 Emmy Awards, winning one for Outstanding Individual Achievement in Animation for the episode The Great Fusili. That's the one with Muriel becomes a little kid, Muriel.
Yep.
The character of Courage was originally supposed to be a cat, but was changed into a dog because Dilworth felt that that dogs in general were just more vulnerable and sympathetic to cats. True. Cats, you know what? I love them. I have to. You have to. But dogs are just, they love you. Cats are like, I could live without you. I just
Yeah.
choose not to.
Except for when they're hungry.
Yeah, then
They
they're
will
like,
be all over
Dad,
you."
Dad, feed us, please. I can see the bottom of the bowl.
Did you know that there's a bottom to this? Dude. So on our Facebook right now, you should go to our facebook.com/The Men of Zen. You can check out a post that I shared actually from Cartoon Network. I'm not going to read all of these, but there is one that I want to read specifically. The original post says, one of these crossover ideas by #ChatGPT will actually be made into an animated special for 2025. So if you don't know what ChatGPT is, you're living under a rock or you're too old and you need to figure it out. It's an AI that can write basically anything you ask it to. It can write very specific things. So they asked it to write some loose like script ideas for episode mashups. One of the episode mashups is they're going to call Regular Courage. So there's like 6 or 7 of these mashups. They have one that's like a mix of Flapjack and Adventure Time called Flapjack Time.
Ooh.
The Amazing World of Foster's Imaginary World. Eddie Universe from like Ed, Ed and Eddie and Steven Universe.
What?
Codename Creek Kids Next Door.
Sick.
This one also sounds good. It's Total Teen Titans Drama.
Ooh.
Like Total Drama Island. The Grim Adventures of Scooby-Doo. Bear Chowder.
Bear Chowder.
Bear Chowder. The one that I'm really hoping for, well, I guess there's a couple that I wouldn't mind, but Regular Courage is the one I want to read about. The episode would be titled The Haunted Arcade, where the synopsis is Mordecai and Rigby from Regular Show stumble upon a mysterious arcade game and transports them to the world of Courage the Cowardly Dog. There they meet Courage and his owners, Muriel and Eustace, who explain that the arcade game has brought them into the clutches of an evil entity that feeds on fear. Together, the group must navigate through a haunted arcade filled with terrifying games and obstacles in order to defeat the entity and escape back to their own worlds. Along the way, they face their deepest fears and learn valuable lessons about courage and facing your fears. However, things become even more complicated when they encounter some of the villains from both of their respective shows who have been trapped in the arcade for years. The villains must put aside their differences and work together with the group to defeat the entity and escape the arcade once and for all. Throughout the episode, there are plenty of hilarious and scary moments as the group navigates through the haunted arcade and battles their inner demons. I think that'd be fucking awesome.
Oh, dude, I would watch that in a heartbeat.
That'd be so cool. But yeah,
Holy
there's like
shit.
6 or 7 others. Go to our Facebook to find this post or go to Cartoon Network's page, and it's a straight up vote that you can do to have one of these episodes get made into a real thing for 2025. I think that's fucking cool. That's one of the best ideas. I love ChatGPT. That thing has been hilarious. It's been one of the best inventions we've ever had. It can do your work for you. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, real quick before we go, as I know we're coming up on time here. I didn't necessarily think we would get quite there, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, right. But we're getting there. So one of the last things that I do want to talk about is the Google review, which currently sits at a 4.9, as it so rightly deserves. There's only a handful of 1-star reviews and a truckload of 5 stars. It's fucking awesome. I've got a really decent short one from, I'm going to butcher your name, I'm sorry. Hopefully you don't listen to our show, or maybe you do. You know what? You should. Listen to our show. I don't know what your fucking name is. Akaria Deruva. I don't know. How do you come up with these names, dude? There's no way this is real. Is this a bot? Is this ChatGPT? This person says, this is my favorite show. I love it. I have been watching it since I was a child. I love the characters in it. It is spooky and it is so enjoyable. I would literally wait like when this show will start. Even I would eat snacks while watching it. This show is truly an addiction for me and my bro, and we watch the show every single day. The episode King of Ramses from Egypt and the other in which Muriel turns into a monster is my favorite.
That's the one I was telling you about.
Yeah.
The fucking music in that episode, like where they just loud music was playing, it was like actually like hurting their ears. They're grabbing their head and go, ah! It was turns out to be a fucking music player that was hidden out behind a rock.
Oh my
that was
God.
just blaring so loud, and it was just like a lot of King Ramsey. Da, 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 da. He's so cool. Da, 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 da. King Ramsey.
Is that like a take on fucking Aladdin?
I think so.
Oh my
and then like
God.
Courage finds it, beats it with a bat, destroying it, and then you see the mummy go, "Oh, come on."
Oh my
Or
God.
like, oh my god, I could talk on that episode. That episode's cool.
She goes on to say, "This is my my favorite childhood memory. I still remember when I was a kid. I used to watch it with my mom, and she also loved this show. This amazing show, Courage the Cowardly Dog, was created by John R. Dilworth and is one of his best creations. I thank him to make my childhood very special and memorable." Aw, one person found this helpful. Aw. There's a few other like super fucking long ones that like I had to find. Like, it took me a couple minutes to find a short review because for some reason, everyone about this show has to write a novel. Like, I could have just used this as the report instead.
Dude, do you remember the character Fred?
Fred.
He's Muriel's nephew, I guess. He is a barber. He's a blonde hair, and he's got a big grin on his face, and he just loves cutting hair. Here,
that sounds familiar. Yes.
Yep, and he's got this obsession with Courage because he just wants to like shave him, and he just talks in this very
shaving.
Like he talks in this very elegant way, the elegant manner where he like almost like he's writing poetry, and then he ends every sentence with yes.
Yep.
And
he's got that fucking creepy big ass smile.
Turns out he's actually an escaped mental patient, and the psychiatric ward comes to pick him up because he escaped.
I do remember that. Oh my god.
Oh my god. The
Courage
spirit
will
of
like call the police, and he'll be like, where are you at? And they'll be like, in the middle of nowhere. And they'll be like, oh, we'll be we're gonna be a while.
We're gonna be a while. Just saying. This character's like Robot Randy. Spirit of the Harvest Moon, which was legitimately like a live action face.
Oh yeah. Yep. The creepy black and white one.
Yep. Shirley the Medium. Oh my god. There's so many good things. So many. Oh my god. The Ink. The Ink Girl. The Ink Girl. I can't remember. Black Puddle Queen.
I don't know if I remember that one either.
Top 10 famous characters. Hold on. That's cats. We don't care. Here we go. Black Puddle Queen.
Let me see this. Let me see. Oh, she honestly doesn't look familiar.
She's she controls this dark. She's a seductive sea demon that lives in an underwater palace. She's considered one of Courage's signature enemies, despite appearing only in 2 episodes. She basically convinces Eustace to like follow her into like this black puddle, which leads to an underwater world. That was super cool. Here, King Ramses.
Yeah, he's like the CG animated thing. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see, Big Toe. He's like, I'm a big toe. See, yeah.
God, I remember so much about this show that I do. Oh my god.
I love how that episode where Eustace gets like the purple fungus and the green like little like splotches on his feet, and Muriel's like, oh, it looks infected. Don't worry, I've got a family secret remedy. And then the next scene, it's her rubbing a cactus on his foot. He's like, ah! Ah! She's just rubbing it all over his foot, and then like she pulls away, just covered in like needles and stuff.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh, so many good like just good villains in this show. They're so memorable. Please go watch Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's absolutely amazing. I give it personally a solid 8 out of 10.
Nice. That's I feel like that's pretty appropriate. I don't know if I would want to give it much higher than that. No show's perfect, but this is one of the great ones that I remember from childhood that was really enjoyable. Even if it wasn't something I was looking forward to, I would still just sit and watch it like pretty happily without like too much fucking complaints from me. Well, I think that might do that for us here. Do you have any last minute things you want to add before we close out?
Yeah, one last thing. For some reason, this scene gets me every fucking time. I laugh so hard at it. They're on Mount Rushmore. I'm not going to go into the huge details, but like they just escaped some kind of crazy like adventure, and they're just Muriel's like, what should we do, Eustace? Turns over, Eustace is getting mauled by a giant purple squirrel, and it's like got him in, like he's biting his middle, like just move, like shaking him side to side, and you just hear Eustace going, ah! He's like hitting his head. He's like, ah, God, and just like, ah, ah. It's like the theme music. He turns super dark, and then she's like, oh well.
No big deal.
I'm just like, where'd this squirrel come from?
It was nice knowing him.
Dumbass
you
shit, but
slave woman, and that's why she doesn't give a shit.
there you
right
go.
there.
Like karma's a bitch, Eustace.
Oh, shit.
But great
thank you so
episode.
much for everybody for listening to our show. I want to thank Schminkadelic for the use of our intro and outro. You can check more of his dance and trance tunes out on Spotify and Apple Music. So shank you, Schminkadelic. Shank you so much.
Thank you.
You should also check out any of our social media sites if you want to know more or reach out to us about anything. Just about every single thing we have is blah, 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 / the Men of Zen. So you can insert whatever fucking website there, the Men of Zen. You can find us on that. I'm trying to get us onto Apple Podcasts. I don't know if it's up yet. It's been a few days. I've heard that it takes a while, but damn, they're taking their fucking time.
Yeah, sounds like Apple.
Yeah, I don't know. But in the meantime, what you should absolutely do if you like what we're doing, or you think we're entertaining, or even just there's just like a fucking an iota of a piece of you that's like, yeah, that was okay. If you like our show, the best thing you can do is like our show, leave a comment, ring the bell, subscribe. Anything and everything like that will be huge. If you can even tell a friend to tell 2 friends, that would be phenomenal. We thank each and every one of you for listening. This has been super fun to do, and we wouldn't be doing this without any listeners, but we do have at least a good handful of you, so thank you everybody for listening. And once again, this has been the Men of Zen. My name is Brent.
And I'm Phil, the cowardly man.
Yeah. Not me, though.
Nah, you're brave as shit.
This has been the Men of Zen. Stay Zen, everybody.
Stay zen.
For more media entertainment podcasts like the one you just heard, check out The Barn. Anime, music, sports, and video games, The Barn has everything that you need.